channels. Diverse voices, one platform. WION World is one.
WION, India's global voice. The channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION, World is one.
Hello, you're watching Gravitas. I'm Shreya Upadhyay. On Gravitas tonight, we talk more on Iran's retaliation after the South Pars gas field attack. The country has now hit the world's biggest LNG complex in Qatar and oil refineries in Saudi Arabia and Kuwait. More on it coming up ahead. We also get you details of the Hajj Qasim missiles that Iran is using in the war against Israel and America. What do they do and how do these missiles impact the enemy? We talk all about it. The West Asia war is expanding. Israel and America continue to pound Iran. Tehran's retaliatory attacks have intensified. And in a new development, the war has now extended as far as the Caspian Sea, with Israel attacking Iranian naval ships. For the first time, the Israeli army attacked Iran's missile-launching ships in the Caspian Sea. The targets also included a central headquarters, a central infrastructural facility used for the repair of vessels. After killing Iran's security chief, Ali Larijani, and the intelligence minister, Ismail Khatib, the IDF stressed that it will not stop eliminating senior Iranian officials. Meanwhile, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has vowed zero restraint if energy infrastructure is attacked by America and Israel once again. Earlier, in a shocking escalation, Israel struck the South Pars natural gas field, which it shares with Qatar, in the Persian Gulf. It is, remember, the world's largest natural gas field, containing an estimated 51 trillion cubic meters of recoverable gas. On an average, this facility produces 730 million cubic meters of gas per day, catering to 70% of Iran's domestic gas consumption. After the Iranian president, Masoud Pezeshkian, warned of uncontrollable consequences that could engulf the entire world, Tehran has retaliated by attacking Qatar's Ras Laffan industrial city. This has caused fires resulting in significant damage to the facility, which is, remember, the world's largest LNG production unit, producing about 20% of the global LNG supply. In the early hours of Thursday, Iran fired missiles at several other LNG facilities in Qatar as well. Now, the strike on South Pars field again widened the cracks between US and Israel. Taking to Truth Social, US President Donald Trump distanced America from this attack and declared that Israel will not make any attacks on this side. However, he warned that America will blow up the entire South Pars gas field if Iran decides to attack Qatar once again. Meanwhile, Iran continues its retaliatory strikes on Israel. The sound of sirens and blasts has been heard over Tel Aviv as Israel detected missiles from Iran. Sirens were also sounded in Jerusalem as residents rushed to shelters. In an overnight strike, a building in Tel Aviv sustained damage from shrapnel of an Iranian missile. However, no injuries were reported at the site. The damage was even more severe in central Israel's Moshav Adanim, where a Thai farm worker lost his life owing to an Iranian missile barrage. The scope of this war has increased even more now. 3 Palestinian women were killed in West Bank after a falling shrapnel struck a hair salon. This marked the first Palestinian deaths of this war. On the other hand, the U.S. Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, has maintained that America continues to move deeper into Iranian territory and destroy mine storage facilities. He claims that U.S. has destroyed Iran's 11 submarines and damaged or sunk 120 Iranian warships. Hegseth also stressed that there is no time frame for ending the U.S.-Israeli war against Iran. Now, the spate of destruction in Tehran continues as we speak. Visuals showed bulldozers removing rubble from a heavily damaged building in Iran. Officials from the Iranian Red Crescent were seen pulling survivors from the rubble of this very building. Once again, though, Iranians showed solidarity toward their government. Thousands of people hit the streets of Tehran to bid farewell to those who lost their lives, including those on the Dena vessel as well as Larijani and other top officials. Huge crowds thronged the funeral of Larijani, which was held in the city of Qom today. With the war raging across multiple countries, the casualties continue to mount. Iran's death toll has now surged over 1,440. On the other hand, 13 U.S. military personnel have been killed in action and 200 others have been injured. Israel's intensified attacks have resulted in at least 918 deaths in Lebanon so far. With Arab nations asserting their right to defend themselves and Iranian lawmakers proposing a plan to impose tolls on shipping that is passing through the strategic Strait of Hormuz, the situation in West Asia is now increasingly getting out of control. Iran's missile campaign is now entering a more dangerous phase. After deploying the Sejil, Tehran has unveiled yet another powerful weapon on the battlefield. The IRGC says the Hajj Qasim missile has been fired in a fierce new wave of retaliation. Take a look.
Israeli and American forces are continuing heavy strikes across Iran. Israeli military says that Iran's ballistic missiles and drone facilities, as well as air defense systems, ballistic missile launchers, and weapon production sites are being systematically destroyed. The US claims to have struck over 7,000 targets in Iran. US says it is attacking deeper into Iranian territory. US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says there is no time frame for ending the war against Iran.
And we have even more of an exact sense of what we're striking and why, and even more dynamically, meaning because the intelligence improves, we're able to more quickly identify targets when they, let's say they come out of an underground facility where they've been hiding, and able to strike it before it strikes or right after it shoots. But we're very much on plan.
Iran, on the other hand, is retaliating hard using powerful and newer missiles. The IRGC says it fired the Qassem missile for the first time in this war as part of its 59th wave of retaliatory strikes. This solid-fueled predator is built for speed and survival. The Qassem missile has an operational range of 1,400 kilometers, reported to reach speeds of up to Mach 12. It carries a payload of approximately 500 kilograms. IRGC claims to have struck 80 military and military support targets in Israel using multi-warhead missiles and attack drones. Iranian forces also say that they have hit American outposts in Qatar, Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, and Saudi Arabia. As US and Israel increase their attacks, the Iranian forces are striking back with more powerful weaponry as the war has entered its third week. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
The war in West Asia has been expanding. The Gulf's energy heartland is now under fire. Iran has unleashed retaliatory strikes on oil and gas facilities across Saudi Arabia and Qatar. Explosions, fires, and rising global energy fears are now pushing this war into a dangerous new phase.
Israel crossed a red line by attacking Iran's vast South Pars natural gas field. The attack prompted a furious response. Iran retaliated with attacks across the region. Missiles and drones streaked towards some of the most critical energy facilities in the world. Alarms echo across oil terminals and gas plants that power global markets. In Qatar, the impact was severe. Qatar Energy reported extensive damage at the Ras Laffan industrial hub following missile strikes. Large fires broke out across parts of the facility, including major gas processing plants, forcing emergency shutdowns. Ras Laffan is not just another industrial site, it is one of the world's largest liquefied natural gas export centers. The North Field, known as South Pars on the Iranian side, in total contains an estimated 51 trillion cubic meters of gas. Saudi Arabia says a drone crashed into the Samref refinery in the industrial zone of the Red Sea port of Yanbu. This facility is crucial as the overland oil pipeline gives Saudi exports an alternative to the Strait of Hormuz, currently choked off by Iran. Apart from Saudi Arabia and Qatar, drone attacks sparked blazes at Kuwait's Mina Abdullah and Mina Al Ahmadi refineries, which have a combined capacity of 800,000 barrels per day. The attacks sent shockwaves through global energy markets. Oil prices dipped 10%. Brent crude oil spiked to as high as $118 a barrel, up more than 60% since Israel and US started the war with strikes on Iran. US President Donald Trump pledged to completely destroy Iran's South Pars natural gas field, which is the world's largest gas field, if Iran attacks Qatar again. Iranian forces warn that they will destroy Gulf's energy infrastructure if its oil facilities are to be attacked again.
We warn the enemy, you made a big mistake in attacking energy infrastructure in the Islamic Republic of Iran, and our response is ongoing and not over yet. If it's repeated again, the next attacks on the energy infrastructure of you and your allies won't stop until total destruction. and our response will be much harder than tonight's attacks.
Across the Gulf, the message is now unmistakable. This war is no longer confined to military bases and missile sites. It has moved straight into the engines of the global economy, and the flames rising from oil and gas facilities are being watched by the entire world.
America's most powerful warship, the USS Gerald R. Ford, is reportedly leaving the Red Sea for repairs in Crete after a fire broke out on board. The carrier is currently located near the port of Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. It is now expected to sail to naval support activity, Sauda Bay in Crete, for over a week of repairs. Now, this blaze started, remember, in the ship's laundry facility last week and took several hours to extinguish. As per 2 American officials, the fire caused significant damage and injured some sailors. More than 200 crew members were assessed for smoke inhalation after the incident on the 2nd of March, but most later returned to duty. 1 sailor was medically evacuated and is currently in a stable condition, while 2 others were treated for minor injuries. A spokesperson for the U.S. Fifth Fleet said that the ship remained operational despite the incident. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. The deployment has already stretched the crew. The Ford has been deployed since June 2025, and its mission has been extended multiple times. Just last month, the Pentagon ordered the carrier to remain in West Asia ahead of the outbreak of the war with Iran. It was earlier reported that the carrier had also faced plumbing issues during its prolonged deployment, highlighting the strain that is placed on the ship and its crew after months at sea. Is the West Asia war spiraling tensions on American soil? Unidentified drones reportedly flying over a key military base in Washington, D.C. has raised speculation about a possible surprise Iranian attack. Now, this is no ordinary base. It's located within a 5-kilometer radius of the White House and the Capitol Hill, Fort McNair. It is home to the National Defense University and the 3rd U.S. Infantry Regiment. And most importantly, top officials, including the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and the Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, reside here. As per reports, multiple drones were spotted flying over this very army base at night over the past 10 days. Unlike other bases, Fort McNair reportedly lacks the same safety buffer. Now remember, while the origin of these drones remains unclear, reports suggest that a meeting was held at the White House to discuss the situation and consider relocating Hegseth and Rubio. However, neither of them has been moved so far. Meanwhile, Pentagon spokesperson Sean Parnell has refused to comment on the drones as well as the movement of the top officials for security reasons. This comes in the wake of the U.S. State Department ordering all American diplomatic posts to conduct immediate security assessments, citing potential for spillover effects from the West Asia war. For instance, the CENTCOM headquarters was reportedly put on lockdown twice this week owing to a suspicious package. As per reports, 2 bases in New Jersey and Florida raised their protection level. This amid concerns over the threat of sabotage by Iranian-backed groups on foreign soil. For instance, Kuwait arrested 10 individuals allegedly affiliated with Hezbollah for plotting terror actions against vital infrastructure. Kuwait's Ministry of Interior shared a video of the seized items, including Hezbollah flags, small drones, and photographs of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and Hezbollah's former leader Hassan Nasrallah. On Monday this week, it asserted 16 persons for planning a sabotage plot. In fact, they were arrested on these very charges. Earlier in March, Pakistani national Asif Merchant was convicted of planning to kill prominent American politicians like U.S. President Trump and his predecessor, Joe Biden, at Iran's behest. The U.S. Department of Justice has accused him of trying to recruit people in America as part of this alleged plan in retaliation for Iranian military commander Qasem Soleimani's killing in 2020. While there is no evidence of an organized plot by Iran to carry out violent activities overseas, remember, tensions in the U.S. are rising over the lack of clarity over Trump's endgame and the rising cost of this war. 20 days since America and Israel commenced their military strikes against Iran, the West war is now entering a dangerous territory. A new threshold has been broken with a strike on the complex of Iran's Bushehr nuclear power plant. The International Atomic Energy Agency has confirmed that a projectile struck and destroyed a structure located 350 meters away from the Bushehr nuclear power plant reactor on Tuesday. While there was no damage to the reactor nor injuries to the staff, the IAEA chief Rafael Grossi stressed that this attack violated nuclear safety norms. So far, remember, neither Israel nor the US has claimed responsibility for this attack. Now, why is this significant? Let's tell you. Located nearly 750 kilometers south of Tehran, the Bushehr nuclear power plant is Iran's first and only operational nuclear power facility. Completed by Russia in 2011, it is central to Iran's civilian nuclear energy program as its pressurized water reactor generates up to 1,000 megawatts of electricity. In 2019, Iran started a project to add 2 additional reactors to this site. While a major catastrophe was averted this time, it shows how this war is now getting more dangerous. In the wake of this incident, Russia lashed out at America and Israel for threatening the lives of Russian citizens working at this very site.
We have repeatedly warned Israel and the United States, which continue their aggressive military campaign against the Islamic Republic of Iran, of the categorical unacceptability of threatening the lives and health of the numerous Russian citizens remaining at the site who are part of the nuclear power plant's workforce.
The World Happiness Report has released its global rankings for the year 2025, and this list includes 147 countries, with Finland sitting at the top, while Afghanistan at the bottom of this list. This might sound completely normal, but wait till you hear about where Israel sits on the table. The country is entangled in war since the 7th of October 2023, attacks on Iran and Iranian counterattacks in June 2025, along with the threat from Hezbollah in the north. The war on multiple fronts has seemingly had no effect in Israel's ranking since 2024. Regardless of the war and its aftershocks, Israel ranks 8th in the Global Happiness Index, making it the only Asian country featuring in the top 20 ranks. This is above countries like Luxembourg, Switzerland, and New Zealand. It is the only country in top 20 that is actively engaging in a military conflict with another country in the list. The next such country happens to be Israel's ally in striking Iran, the United States of America, which sits at number 23 in the Global Happiness rankings. Iran, however, ranks 97 on this very list. This is above countries like Pakistan, India, South Africa, Jordan, and Sri Lanka. The entire South Asia is sitting below Iran on the Global Happiness Index. All right, coming up on Gravitas on the other side, India is considering joining Europe's 6th-generation fighter jet program. A look at what it's all about in just a bit. And Lionel Messi has scripted history with a 900th career goal, joining Ronaldo in the elite club. We talk about it in just some time. The world is facing the risk of a major food crisis as the conflict in West Asia escalates. The Strait of Hormuz, a critical artery for global trade, has slowed to a near standstill. While attention remains on oil, a deeper crisis is now emerging around fertilizer, specifically urea. About 35% of global urea exports and one-third of all seaborne fertilizer move through the Strait of Hormuz. The disruption comes, remember, at a crucial moment because it coincides with the spring planting season in the Northern Hemisphere. Global urea prices have surged by more than 40%, rising from $487 to over $700 per metric ton. At the same time, high natural gas prices have forced production cuts and shutdowns in India, Bangladesh, and Egypt. In the United States, fertilizer supply is already reported to be 25% below seasonal requirements. The World Food Programme warns that the situation is critical. This is not just a supply issue, but a dual crisis affecting both fuel as well as food production inputs. If this disruption continues through June this year, an additional 45 million people could fall into acute hunger. This could push the global total to 363 million people facing food insecurity. It could even surpass the previous record of 349 million people during the 2022 Ukraine crisis. Regional impacts are expected to be severe. Food insecurity could rise by 24% in Asia, 21% in West and Central Africa, and 17.7% in East and Southern Africa. Countries with weaker purchasing power will be hit the hardest. Without sufficient urea yields for staple crops like wheat and corn, that could drop by up to 50% in a single season. To stay ahead of the evolving threats and avoid strategic delays, especially amid a rapidly evolving global aerial battlefield, the Indian government is now accelerating its push into next-generation air power, with plans to join a global program developing sixth-generation fighter jets. We'll get you more details on this. Let's quickly cut across to Washington, D.C., where Donald Trump is speaking.
We're going to have a much safer world, and the Prime Minister agrees with me on this. He considers it to be terrible what Iran did. I think every country does, just about every country does. Iran is a serious threat to the world, to the Middle East and to the world. And everybody agrees with me. I think virtually every country agrees with me on that. So I wanted to put out that fire. And I said, if I do that, oil prices will go up, the economy will go down a little bit. I thought it would be worse. Much worse, actually. I thought there was a chance it could be much worse. It's not bad, and it's going to be over with pretty soon. We've obliterated their Navy. We've obliterated their just about everything there is to obliterate, including leadership. Their Navy's gone, their Air Force is gone, their anti-aircraft equipment is gone. We're flying wherever we want, Pete. We have nobody even shooting at us. They have, and as you know, their leadership is gone. Their leaders are gone. They picked new leaders, they're gone. They picked new leaders, they're gone. And now they're looking for new leaders again. We can take out the island anytime we want. I call it the little oil island that sits there, so totally unprotected. And we've taken out everything but the pipes. We left the pipes because to rebuild the pipes would take years for them to do. I would say we are substantially ahead of schedule. And I had to do this. I call it an excursion. I had to take this little excursion and do something that no other president had the courage to do. And everybody wanted to do it, but they never had the courage to do it. And I don't blame them. I'm not blaming them. It was left to me, and we've done a great job. Our military is incredible. We have an incredible military. We have the strongest military in the world by far. We have the greatest equipment in the world by far. In fact, Japan buys our equipment, buys a lot of it, and we're honored by that. And that's one of the things we'll be talking. They want to buy a lot of the military equipment. So it's just an honor to have the Prime Minister. We've had a tremendous relationship. Okay.
Mr. President.
I think she's going to have to go first before you. Is that okay? Yeah. Do you understand? It's very good. I tell you, she's good. I mean, it's so nice that we don't have to sit. No, it's very good. I haven't picked up your language, so the next time you come, I'll have your language mastered. All right, go ahead.
The war is almost over. Why is the Pentagon going to ask Congress for an additional $200 billion?
Well, we're asking for a lot of reasons beyond even what we're talking about in Iran. This is a very volatile world, and the military equipment, the power of some of this weaponry is unthinkable. You don't even want to know about it. Oh, you could end this thing in 2 seconds if you wanted to, but we are being very judicious. But we want to do. Don't forget, Biden gave away. I rebuilt the military in my first term. Biden gave away so stupidly to Afghanistan a lot. He didn't want to move it. He was too lazy, too stupid to move it. But it was a very small amount. It was a lot, but it was very small relative to what I purchased and what I built. We want to have vast amounts of ammunition, which we have right now. We have a lot of ammunition, but it was taken down by giving so much to Ukraine. They gave so much. You know, Biden gave $350 billion worth of cash and military equipment to Ukraine, and he didn't rebuild anything. Fortunately, we have a lot. We have a tremendous, unlimited supply of what you'd call middle and upper middle armaments and military equipment, munitions, armaments, but munitions in particular. At the high end, we have a lot, but we're preserving it. We don't really need it, but we're building. Our manufacturers of military equipment are building at a level they've never seen before. They've never done before. Pete's in charge of it with all of us, really. But Pete's been very strong on it. The general and Pete, myself, the whole group. And Raytheon is building 4 factories. Lockheed is building 5 or 6 factories, and they're building them fast because we had a very tough meeting with them. They were going out and buying back stock for $51 billion in one case. They spent $51 billion buying back stock. Now they're not allowed to do that. And they are now building a tremendous, there's never been anything like it, what's taking place right now. So we're in very good shape, but we want to be in the best shape we've ever been in. We were that, you know, when I rebuilt the military, we were in great shape, and then Biden blew it, and he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. And if you listen to the Democrats, they don't even want to have a military. Now you see how important it is. But we have the strongest military in the world. We have the best equipment. We make by far the best equipment. The other night, they had 114 rockets shot at a certain location. And out of 100 highly sophisticated rockets, out of 114 sophisticated rockets, every single one of them was shot down with our equipment. All our equipment. It's amazing, actually, how good it is. So we want to be sure, and it's a small price to pay to make sure that we stay tippy-top.
Mr. President, the Treasury Secretary this morning said there were defections among Iranian leadership. Are you aware of that, and is there anybody the U.S. can work with as a leader going forward?
Well, we have a man named the Treasury Secretary here, so maybe he wants to discuss it. Does anybody know? Do you know who he is? Central Casting.
Yeah, so Ed, we are seeing the defections at all levels as they're starting to sense what's going on with the regime. It doesn't get reported here in the U.S. very well, but you know we are trouncing them from the air, and the regime will probably collapse within itself. At Treasury, we've seen where they've wired their money out of the country. We're coming for that. We're going to get it back to the Iranian people.
Mr. President, seeing defections?
Is Israel?
There's a lot of military defections also. You have a lot of military defections in Iran. I don't blame them.
Thank you, Mr. President. Have you talked to Prime Minister Netanyahu about attacking the oil and gas fields?
Yeah, I did. I told him don't do that, and he won't do that. We didn't discuss. You know, we do. We're independent. We get along great. It's coordinated, but on occasion he'll do something, and if I don't like it, and so we're not doing that anymore.
And the last one, if I could, the Fed chairman told me yesterday that he plans to stay until a new Fed chairman is confirmed, and he also plans to stay on the board until the investigation into the Federal Reserve is done.
Well, he's under investigation because he's building a building for hundreds of billions of dollars more than it's supposed to cost. The building you see over there is under budget and ahead of schedule. That's the ballroom. The ballroom is a much bigger building. It's a much more complex building than what he's doing, and it's at a fraction of the cost. Something is going on, whether it's contractors. That's what I do best in the world. I build great buildings. I've always done it, and I build them under budget and ahead of schedule. They could have $4 billion. This is a renovation job for $4 billion. And if you look at the building, it's not even, I don't know if Kevin Warsh is ever going to be able to move into it. It's been under construction for years. It's the most expensive building ever built. Now, I know it's gross incompetent because I happen to think he's grossly incompetent. Today, certainly you should be lowering interest rates, all right? Certainly, who would not lower them? But he's stubborn, and he's got Trump derangement syndrome. But a lot of people have that, you know. It's not a curable disease. But he's also building, he should be lowering rates immediately. But he won't do that because he's a stubborn, incompetent person. And that's a bad thing. You know, when you're stubborn and incompetent, I think it's the worst combination. And he's also not a smart person. But he's building a complex over there that's under his jurisdiction. He started it, and it's out of control. It's billions of dollars for a little building. I could have done that building and made it beautiful for $25 million. $25 million, and it would have been beautiful. Look what I've done at the White House, fixing it up. And I mean, the place was in bad shape. You see the floors and everything. It was in bad shape. I could have made that building beautiful for $25 million. They're spending $4 billion. All right. So there is criminality. Maybe it's with the contractor, but because I know more about contractors than any human being maybe that's ever lived. But that contractor is a very rich man. Whoever the contractor is, and we know, but whoever the contractor is an extremely rich man. He's going to make, I mean, he could make millions of dollars. I'm hearing numbers from $3 to $4 billion. That would make it the most expensive building on a square foot basis ever built in history. And you're not even building a building, it's a renovation. The exterior skin is staying, the steel is staying, the structure. So all I want to do is bring out to the public that this guy is an incompetent. He's a very incompetent guy. And he may be a dishonest guy, but some...
All right, so that's the American President Donald Trump speaking along with the Japanese Prime Minister. In fact, they're holding a press conference, and Aida Kaichi is visiting Washington, D.C. at the moment. And once again, the U.S. President reiterated that America is winning this war and that they are not short on arms and ammunition, and that there are new weapons factories that are coming up in the United States of America. We'll keep getting you details from this press conference. Right now, we have a breaking input coming in. Let's quickly get to that. Israeli media is reporting that an oil refinery in Haifa has been hit from Iranian missiles. Reports claim damage to the refineries in Haifa. However, there are no casualties, is what the report states at the moment. There are also reports of a fire and falling shrapnel in Haifa following an Iranian missile attack. The reported attack took place after sirens were heard across northern and central Israel and the Jerusalem area. Iran, remember, had earlier unleashed retaliatory strikes on oil and gas facilities as well across Saudi Arabia and Qatar after Israel had targeted the South Pars gas field, which is the world's largest gas field located in Iran. The Haifa refinery is located at the Haifa Bay. It is Israel's largest oil processing facility. It supplies roughly about 50 to 60% of the country's domestic fuels. And now Israeli media reports claiming that there has been a strike on the Haifa refineries as well. As the war drags on, the cost of war keeps rising. The Pentagon is reportedly seeking over $200 billion from the U.S. Congress to fund the ongoing war against Iran. The cost of the conflict has escalated dramatically from initial estimates. The Washington Post, citing an anonymous senior administration official, has reported that the proposed amount would far surpass the cost of the Trump administration's campaign till date. It remains uncertain how much funding the White House will ultimately ask the Congress to approve. As per some officials within the administration, Pentagon's proposal may struggle to gain sufficient support, potentially triggering a major confrontation in the Congress. Meanwhile, public backing for this military campaign remains limited, and Democratic lawmakers have strongly criticized the conflict. Reacting to the Washington Post report, Iran's foreign minister Sayyed Abbas Araghchi has said, and I quote him, "We're only 3 weeks into this war of choice imposed on both Iranians and Americans. These $200 billion are the tip of the iceberg. Ordinary Americans can thank Benjamin Netanyahu and his lackeys in the Congress for the $1 trillion Israel First tax that's about to hit the U.S. economy," unquote. The United States, remember, spent $11.3 billion in just the first week of its military assault on Iran. This figure reportedly covers only the cost of the munitions that were used in the initial strikes. It excludes broader expenses such as troop deployments, logistics, and the ongoing operations. This suggests the total cost is already significantly higher. Now, let's say the addition $200 billion request is approved. Then, the American expenditure on war could exceed more than half of Iran's annual gross domestic product. As per the world meters, Iran's GDP stood at $356.51 billion in 2025. The $11.3 billion spent in the first week alone outweighs the budget of several American government agencies. Now, these include the Environmental Protection Agency at $8.8 billion, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention at $9.2 billion, and the National Cancer Institute at $7.4 billion. The U.S., remember, first attacked Iran in joint operations with Israel on the 28th of February. Since then, strikes and counterstrikes in West Asia have only intensified. Shifting our focus now to India, last week, Raghav Chadha introduced the Asset Tokenization Regulation Bill of 2026 in the upper house of the Parliament. This bill aims to create a legal framework for converting real-world assets into digital tokens. Earlier in February, Raghav Chadha had argued that the lack of a dedicated regulatory framework had pushed significant digital asset trading activity to foreign shores. In a social media post on X, Raghav said, and I quote, "The bill is a forward-looking framework to bring legal clarity, transparency, and investor protection to the emerging ecosystem of tokenized real-world assets in India." He termed this bill as a potential next UPI moment for India. The legislation, remember, seeks to democratize investment and prevent the migration of asset tokenization to foreign jurisdictions. The key aspects of the proposed bill include providing legal recognition to tokenized assets, allowing them to be treated as legitimate ownership instruments rather than just risky digital assets. This bill enables breaking down large assets like commercial buildings into smaller, accessible digital units, making investments possible from as little as 500 rupees. It proposes a statutory framework to govern the issuance, trade, custody, and settlement of tokenized assets to protect investors. Now, the background is an important context to this latest bill. While owning crypto is legal currently, it lacks a comprehensive legal framework for real-world asset tokenization. The bill aims to fill this regulatory vacuum to ensure market integrity and investor protection. To stay ahead of the evolving threats and avoid strategic delays, especially amid a rapidly evolving global aerial battlefield, the Indian government is now accelerating its push into next-generation air power, with plans to join a global program developing sixth-generation fighter jets. In a report tabled in the Lok Sabha, the Defence Ministry has informed the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Defence that India is actively exploring entry into one of the two global consortia developing sixth-generation fighter aircraft. One group brings together the United Kingdom, Italy and Japan. The other one has France, Spain and Germany. The Parliamentary Committee has also been informed that Indian Air Force intends to partner with one of these global teams and begin work on sixth-gen capabilities immediately. Now, this development, remember, does not come in isolation, and it aims to address growing concerns, especially in India's neighborhood. China has already deployed its fifth-generation J-20 fighters, and it is actively developing and testing sixth-generation fighter aircraft as well. Pakistan is reportedly in the process of acquiring around 40 fifth-generation stealth fighter jets from China, potentially giving Islamabad a major strategic edge in air power. India's indigenous fifth-generation program, the Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft, or the AMCA, is under development. The first prototype is expected to take flight by 2029, and the Indian Air Force plans to induct 6 squadrons. Around 120 stealth fighters starting 2035. At the same time, India is co-developing a powerful new engine with a French partner to power these next-gen jets, strengthening their push for self-reliance. But with induction for the fifth-generation fighter jets nearly a decade away, and with countries like China already in the process of developing sixth-gen fighter jets, the quest for modernizing the Air Force has become even more pertinent. Because each generational leap gives an operational edge. The fifth generation provides stealth advancements, while the sixth generation is designed to operate as part of a larger network of unmanned systems. For generations, we have been taught that democracy was born in ancient Greece, a political idea that began in Athens and shaped the modern world. But a new study is now challenging this long-held belief. Researchers say that the roots of democratic practices may go back even further to ancient cities in the Indus Valley and central Mexico. The study, led by scientist Gary Fenman of the Field Museum, analyzed 40% of the ancient societies across 3 continents. The study was focused on how power was shared and how people participated in decision-making. So what is the evidence here? Number 1 is urban design. The findings point to Mohenjo-daro, which is a city that existed more than 4,000 years ago, with its grid-like streets, advanced drainage systems, and lack of palaces or royal tombs. It shows little evidence of a single ruler. Instead, its large public spaces suggest that people may have gathered to discuss and make decisions collectively. The second one is public spaces. A similar pattern is seen in Mexico's ancient Teotihuacan city, which flourished around the 1st century AD. Its massive plazas and shared urban spaces indicate a society where power may have been more distributed rather than controlled by one king. And the third is lack of elite dominance. In these societies, remember, there was little archaeological evidence of extreme wealth concentration or strong rulers, unlike places like China's Anyang civilization, where royal power is very clear. But there are no written records saying that people voted or assemblies passed laws. The evidence is indirect, based on architecture, and the material remains there. Greece may have given us the word democracy and a clear political system, but the idea of sharing power and limiting rulers may have developed in different parts of the world in different ways and much earlier. Our next story is about chess, which is seen as a symbol of strategy and competition. But new research now suggests that in the Middle Ages, the game also served as a powerful space for equality and mutual respect, as this game brought people from different cultures, religions, and backgrounds together. Take a look for more details.
Medieval chess reveals a world of equality and mutual respect. New research from the University of Cambridge shows chess in Middle Ages was a space for equality, where people from different backgrounds could compete as equals. A 13th century text, Libro de Ajedrez, features images of players from Africa, Asia, and West Asia engaging in friendly games. There were illustrations which showed moments where skill mattered more than race or religion, including scenes of Black, Muslim, and Jewish players. Researchers say chess was seen as war without bloodshed, offering a fair and balanced space for intellectual competition. The study concludes that even in a divided medieval society, chess helped bridge cultural differences through strategy and mutual respect.
Shifting focus now, the 2026 FIFA World Cup is less than 100 days away, and Lionel Messi is now gearing up for his last dance at the global stage by breaking more records. Messi has now become the fastest player to score 900 career goals and is only the second player to reach this mark after rival Cristiano Ronaldo. 38-year-old Messi reached this landmark while playing for Inter Miami against Nashville in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. The Argentine World Cup winning captain scored the goal after just 7 minutes on the clock, and even though his strike wasn't enough to secure a victory for Miami, it added another feather to his cap. Lionel Messi reached the 900-goal mark in 1,142 games, that is 94 games fewer than Cristiano Ronaldo. Messi scored his first professional goal 21 years back when he was on target for Barcelona as a 17-year-old. He went on to establish himself as the greatest player of his era and forged a generational rivalry with Cristiano Ronaldo, and even after 2 decades, both Messi and Ronaldo are still going strong. 41-year-old Ronaldo, remember, currently has more career goals. The Portugal captain has 965 goals and has made it clear that he wants to clear the 1,000-goal threshold before retiring. Both Messi and Ronaldo are expected to play at this year's World Cup in the US, Mexico, and Canada. Shifting focus, Hindus in India are celebrating 3 vibrant festivals that have arrived together, marking the Hindu New Year and a time of celebrations. Chaitra Navaratri brings a wave of devotion and temple visits, while Gudi Parva and Ugadi mark the start of a new year in different regions. Take a look. And on that wonderful note, it's time to wrap this edition of Gravitas. But as always, we'll keep getting you news and analysis from across the world. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Bye-bye. Good night.
WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION. World is one. From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
Where darkness hides behind every corner. Where the truth is stranger than fiction. A show that dives deep into the stories which shock and mystify. Unsolved murders. Psychopaths who defy explanation. International war crimes. And millions swindled in financial fraud. The victims, the accused, and the sinister plot. Prime is your front row seat to darkness.
Campaigns, elections, alliances, controversies, and power play. Beyond the noise and rhetoric, no election, no ballot issue too small. Stories that analyze global and domestic politics. More than just headlines. A dedicated show with varied perspectives, expert take, citizens' voices, detailed ground reports, and in-depth coverage from political corridors of the world. This is Race to Power, only on WION. World is one.
In West Asia, every move shifts the world's balance. Wars, ceasefires, alliances, power never stands still. From Tehran to Tel Aviv, from Damascus to Doha, the West Asia Post cuts through the chaos to reveal the region that shapes the world. Because what happens in West Asia never stays in West Asia. This is the West Asia Post, the region's story, the world's impact.
In-depth coverage of global issues broken down into facts, figures, and simple words. Backed with analysis from field experts who truly matter, because we believe in decoding the real picture for you. So you get a much wider and deeper understanding of stories from around the world, a 360-degree analysis. An award-winning documentary series, week after week creating the maximum impact. Watch WION Wide Angle at these times on WION. World is one. Get the latest update.
Destroy their
Breaking
missiles
news.
and raise their...
Credible, clear, continuous. Experts across aisles. Diverse voices, one platform.